Stephen A. Smith showed up locked, loaded, and unapologetically fearless.
Once you let us go, once you let women and poor people go,
Okay.
what do you have?
I would say to you, Whoopi, and what I would say to anybody, focus on what's going to win.
During a recent appearance on The View, the ladies clearly thought they could box Stephen A. Smith into a corner. They tried repeatedly, but Stephen A. doesn't do corners. He stood his ground with trademark confidence, refused to be rattled, and calmly injected a dose of much-needed common sense into a conversation that desperately needed it.
I want to talk to you about the thing, my friend.
Yes.
And some things that you recently said. You know I like you, right? Okay, so you recently accused Senator Mark Kelly, a veteran, an astronaut, of crossing the line for participating in a video reminding troops that they can refuse to follow illegal orders.
Okay.
That's exactly why today's video is an absolute must-watch. The kind you don't scroll past and definitely don't skip.
Let's see some of what you said, my friend.
Sure.
You know better, Senator Kelly. You know better. How dare you do that? You could go to the House. You can draw up paperwork. You can try to start articles of impeachment if you think there's something illegal. I mean, damn, it ain't like y'all haven't done it before. You impeached the man twice. Where'd that get you? Got his behind back in the White House. Had you left him alone since 2020, maybe he wouldn't be back. You don't tell military men and women to ignore an order from the commander-in-chief. You don't do that.
He didn't say a single thing wrong because he understands just how dangerous it is to drag the military into the same partisan swamp that has already consumed so many other institutions.
Pete Hegseth said in 2016, I do think there have to be consequences for abject crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief. Okay. Now, given the fact that the secretary himself said that, I'd love to give you the opportunity to perhaps change your position on what you said.
I'm not changing a thing.
Okay.
I didn't stutter when I said it.
You want to stay loud and wrong?
Well, you could call it loud and wrong all you want to. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine.
And circling back to a point Stephen A. made in the very clip Sonny played. Let's be clear, those 6 Democrats are lawmakers, not social media influencers.
You can be implicated for implying something if you are a former military member or you are a present military member. It wasn't what Mark Kelly said. It's the fact that he was a combat Navy pilot who served in the military who would tell folks ignore an order when it could get them in a world. I said illegal. I said illegal.
The instant they started shouting illegal orders, it laid bare just how deep the groupthink runs on that show. If they genuinely wanted action, Congress gives them a toolkit bigger than most reality TV sets. They could have pushed for a committee hearing, requested a formal legal review from the Pentagon's watchdog. Every option was on the table. But nope, they went for a social media stunt instead of actual governance. And just when you thought the chaos was peaking, Whoopi jumped in, pivoting the conversation to grill Stephen A. over his critique of how Democrats handled last year's election. Let's dive into what she had to say.
I know that you have very strong feelings about Democrats, but I do have this to say to you. It was important, I think, for Democrats to show that they stood with the LGBT community, that they stood with black women and women in general, because once you let us go, once you let women and poor people go, what do you have? And so I've listened to lots of people say, that you didn't follow what was necessary. They did it the way they thought they could. It didn't work for them. They got it.
Look, I have no idea what alternate reality Whoopi thinks she's in, but here on planet Earth, Democrats checked out on poor people a long time ago.
See, respectfully, I don't like that. Let me explain.
That's okay.
Let me explain.
Just like you said to Sonny.
Let me explain.
He sure did say that to me.
Let me
We're
explain.
going to come back. We have to take a break.
We have to take a break?
We have to take a break.
When we come back, you can...
They're no longer the party of working people or the middle class. Now they're firmly the party of wealthy donors and upper-class elites. And the last election couldn't have made that clearer. Without donor pressure, Biden probably never steps aside. And once he did, those same donors fueled Kamala Harris's campaign to the tune of $1.5 billion. Fortune even reported her campaign outspent Trump 3-1. But Stephen A. had his own sharper reason for pushing back on Whoopi's completely out-of-touch take. And he made it crystal clear the moment they returned from the commercial break.
You were about to disagree.
I was disagreeing with this. As a Democrat, the bottom line is this. When we talk about poor people, who ain't thinking about poor people? Democratic Party, I know I do. I know that most candidates within the Democratic Party that I know they think about poor folks. I know they think about the desolate and the disenfranchised. I get that. But what I'm saying is that during the campaign, were you doing what it takes to win? You had too many people going after him for stuff that wasn't going to stick. It wasn't going to influence his voters. So what I would say to you, Whoopi, and what I would say to anybody that doesn't want J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or somebody like that to succeed him, focus on what's going to win.
I get the point he's making, but there's also a layer of calling out Democrats for straight up misleading the public about their actual positions, a tactic they've used before. Take Kamala, for example. She was Biden's border czar. Yet, the moment immigration became a hot-button election issue, she did a complete 180 and suddenly claimed she was all for tougher border enforcement.
Yeah.
That's where my sports background comes in. Tell me what's going to win. I don't want to hear, but I understand the LGBTQ community is important. I understand that the desolate and disenfranchised is somebody we should always be looking out for. I understand the economy. I understand immigration. I get all of that. But the point is, I'm trying to win to make sure that I'm in office and you're not. What is it going to take? The Democrats did not do that last time. And that's what happened.
Another thing, if I were Stephen A., I wouldn't lean too hard on the whole sports expert angle. The man has a long track record of eyebrow-raising takes. Case in point, he predicted the wrong NBA champions 6 years in a row. That streak only broke in 2017 when he finally picked the Warriors. But let's be real, that was the year they added Kevin Durant and basically built a super team. And just when you think the delusion might end there, the ladies dove right in with him during his final answer, fully feeding the circus.
What is the winning issue now?
Affordability and safety.
Yes.
Period. Affordability and safety for the
Which
streets of the
affects
United
all
States.
those groups.
And
It does. It affects
a willingness to cross the aisle and show that you're willing to work with people to get stuff done so we don't have this chaos just because we disagree.
Yep. I think that the Democrats try harder than the Republicans to do that.
Well,
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
How can Sunny claim that safety is a top priority, while simultaneously backing criminal justice reforms that helped create the very problems she's worried about? Perfectly sums up what The View really is. A show addicted to punchy sound bites. Most guests and the hosts themselves clearly don't have a deep understanding of how policy actually works. They're too busy seeing who can yell the loudest. Drop your thoughts on this story in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.